It's not unheard of for GD players to dabble into Osu occasionally, but what happens when those players shift their focus away from GD and onto Osu? In this video, I'd like to go over some players who have successfully transitioned from GD into Osu and made a name for themselves. These players are of different notoriety levels, but I've handpicked some of the more intriguing ones, at least from my point of view. Spoiler alert, a lot of these players stem from an older era of GD, so they might be unrecognizable for newer players. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Hotball was a very well-known top GD player back in 2018, largely known for being the first to complete the newly released top 1 at the time, Bloodlust. Now, you might have seen some of his Fortnite content, which has garnered millions of views, but unknown to most people, Hotball has also managed to carve out a niche name for himself in the Osu community. He's not good enough to be considered a top player, but he definitely has managed to set some impressive scores with Hidden DT and 3mod, earning himself over 100 first place ranks and around 25,000 replays watched. A lot of people seem to remember Hotball for his ego or immaturity, but I can assure you that he has mellowed out over the years. With that being said, even Hotball could not escape the genetics cope. Sadly, Hotball does not play Osu as much as he used to, and is now very inactive. He managed to peak at rank 1,621. Okay, here we have a notable one. Ygyoshi used to be a fairly known GD top player, who managed to complete some of the hardest GD levels during his time in 2016. Most notably, Ygyoshi was tasked with the impossible feat of verifying Infernal Abyss, which was a very difficult extreme demon at the time. Now, there's a lot of Ygyoshi lore to be talked about, but I'm no expert on that topic and would rather just show you some of his GD reactions.
Oh my god!
Ygyoshi had a very successful transition into Osu, more specifically Mania, where he and his teammates managed to win the Osu Mania World Cup twice in 2023 and 2024. Now, I don't know much about Mania, but it is fairly evident that Ygyoshi is a highly skilled Mania player, as he earned the highest prestige possible by winning the World Cup. Unfortunately, I can't give a technical explanation as to what mods or skill sets he's good at, but from what is displayed on his profile, he specializes in 4K and has peaked at rank 57 on the 4K leaderboards. Another noteworthy thing about his profile is that he accumulated over 26,000 replays watched, which I assume is an impressive feat in a minigame like Mania. Now, this is completely unrelated to the video, but Ygyoshi unmutualed me a while ago, and I don't really know the reason, but I still think about it to this day. So Ygyoshi, if you're watching, can you please mutual me back? It would make me very happy. This is a player I think most people are familiar with, or at least have heard of. Creepydash used to be a fairly respected GD top player back in 2015, with over 50k subs and many noteworthy completions to his name. At some time in 2016, Creepydash began showing great interest in Osu by frequently uploading Osu scores to his YouTube channel. In hindsight, his improvement was very rapid, showing signs of great potential should he continue to play the game. For reference, in just 2 months, he went from Dai DTFC worth 254 PP to passing Tengaku with 95% accuracy. Granted, this isn't that impressive nowadays, but you must remember this is taking place in 2016. Fast forward to mid-2018, and Creepydash is showing some insane potential at the game, setting multiple 500s across different skill sets and slowly climbing his way into the top 100. Obviously nowadays, PP has become very inflated, and 500s don't really hold any value anymore. But like I mentioned before, this is all taking place during 2016 to 2018, and in late 2018, you needed around 11k PP to enter the top 100. So what Creepydash was doing at the time was extremely impressive, especially when you consider the scores he was getting PP from. Now, this is all provided he was legit, of course, which I will get into in a minute. But to highlight his supposed skill, he was the first person to FC the map Liar Liar with Hard Rock, and he did it with absurd AC. Just to illustrate how good the score is, it would still be in the top 10 of the map's leaderboard to this day. And even more impressive is the fact that it took 5 years for someone to beat his Hard Rock AC on an FC run. But unfortunately, this story does not have a happy ending, as Creepydash would get restricted on March 28, 2019. This did not come as a shock to many people, as he was already suspected of cheating a while before his ban. I was fairly new to the community at the time, so I didn't get to have a nuanced understanding of this case, but from what I can observe on his Osu game restriction post, many people, including respected top players and figures, were anticipating this ban. I'm not gonna do a deep dive on his restriction, as I don't have all the facts, but it seems to be a case of skilled player resorts to cheating. Now I'm still uncertain as to whether he 100% cheated or not, as false restrictions were still an occurrence back then, and this combined with the fact that Creepydash used to regularly stream his Osu sessions on Twitch, and it did seem that he possessed some legitimate skill. Now this obviously does not absolve him of cheating, and I think it's more likely than not that he cheated some of his more impressive scores. But there is a silver lining to the story, as Creepydash ended up getting unrestricted in August of 2020, but unfortunately it seemed his interest in the game was largely dead by then. I remember being somewhat intrigued by the story, so I actually ended up DMing Creepydash to show him some support after his unrestriction. But me being the idiot I am, I forgot to ask him the question that was actually on my mind, which was if he cheated everything or not. Creepydash was last seen on Bansho 3 years ago, so it is extremely unlikely that he will be returning to the game. He managed to peak at rank 71, however, the validity of that is extremely questionable. Sunix needs no introduction. He was one of the most dominant GD players of all time, possibly even the greatest. Much like Ygyoshi, Sunix was more interested in Mania than he was in Standard. His following got to see a glimpse of that when he began uploading his Mania scores to his YouTube channel, and surprisingly, it was a great success, as some of his Mania scores ended up racking a substantial amount of views. But his success wasn't just limited to YouTube, as he would manage to enter the top 100 in Mania, primarily through 7k scores. Sunix was last seen on Bansho 2 years ago, so just like Creepydash, his interest in the game is most likely dead. He managed to peak at rank 77, which is an impressive feat. Now for this section, I would like to highlight some players that I find either interesting or funny. To kick this section off, I would like to introduce Melodyfox, also known as Crazen. Now I don't have much to say about this, other than that Crazen used to be one of my Osu rivals when I first started. The only notable thing I can mention is that he used to spam GD layouts with popular Osu songs. This one is really random, GD creator Mac. Now if you've played the level Gamma by Mindcap, you would probably know who this is. And just like in GD, Mac has shown interest in not just playing, but also creating. He has mapped some fairly popular maps, one of which was FC'd by Kukizi himself. But Mac isn't just a mapper, he's also a fairly decent player, having a peak rank of 866. Fun fact about this dude, he got restricted for cheating, but it doesn't seem to have affected his skill at all post unrestriction, so I'm not really sure what happened there. Zobros is a mapper in Osu, but I don't think many people know this. He not only has a ranked map, but was also the one who mapped Banana Shrine, which is a fairly popular map. He's still somewhat active on the game. Benji is mostly known for creating Cognition. He has a peak rank of 532 on Osu, and is active to this day. Now I doubt many people know this player, but I'm fairly certain he's the second highest ranked Osu player who originated from GD. He has a peak rank of 199, and he has beaten Tartarus, and has a part in Sinister Silence. That's it for the video. If I missed any other notable players, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.